Okay, let's get this party started. Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're taking a look at the post E3 2018 impressions of the gameplay and the trailers that were shown. Obviously, we can't cover everything, but here are the most our favourite bits that we were checking out and commenting on as they play. We're doing this in a VR environment as well. So without further ado, let's get this show kicked off. Well, Battlefield 5, an interesting prospect, returning to World War II. There's quite a bit of fantasy involved here, but the multiplayer does look rather cool. Some people are not going to like it, some people are going to love it. It's one of those kind of divisive experiences, but you can tell the EA DICE are really pushing the boat out with the destructibility of the environments and of course the atmosphere and the quality of the visuals, which are fantastic. I think you can't argue against that. So whether you're a fan of multiplayer games of this ilk, then you know, you might not agree with some of the choices that have been made, but I think that they're on the right track to produce an excellent shooter experience.
The raft is secure, but I can't reach them over radio. Their comms must be down. What's your status?
Already here.
Oh, Spider-Man. And this is looking like an excellent game. They've already showcased quite a bit, and seeing more of it in action is just the icing on the cake. A lot of clever touches in this particular gameplay clip, and really impressive attention to detail for Spider fans and comic fans. I mean, the character models in the cutscenes are pretty fantastic, and the introduction to these villains as well is also excellent. Really good way of showcasing that the game's going to be filled with lots of cool content.
You okay?
Yeah.
Welcome to the party! Just in time for the fireworks!
Looks like we made parole, boys!
I'm out!
Electro? Why is he letting everyone out?
I'll head for the main control center and see how bad the situation is.
Got it. I'll go join the party.
And seamlessly going into the combat.
Go back into your cells and lock the door behind
It's a big part of the game, chaining those combos together and building up your meter, your abilities. Really fluid stuff, and easy to get into, hard to master perhaps. I mean, lots of nice little special touches there in the animations. Then again, just seamlessly going from one scene to the next in the most cinematic of manners. Really good.
Oh, hi, Rhino.
Hope you like surprise, Spider!
Surprise? What is he talking about?
Hey, what's your status?
Me? Just trapped in
You
a
know, they
prison
really
with every
captured
criminal
that
I've put
kind
away
of
in the last 8
Spider-Man
years.
athleticism and acrobatics, which is excellent.
This is too good to be true.
Scorpion, can you hold on a minute? I was in the middle of a phone call and it was business.
Charge him! Don't let up!
Lost you for a second there. You okay?
Not really. Electro, Rhino, and now Scorpion are all on the loose. What's going on in the rest of the prison?
Camera system's almost up. I'll give you a sit rep soon.
Okay, I'll keep tracking Electro.
Those little cinematic finishes are excellent as well. Really cool stuff.
Whoa! Come on, Spider-Man. I thought this was a chase.
Gotta stop this guy.
And then we head outside and get a glimpse of the city in the background. They have shown some gameplay of the city-based free roaming, which is a big part of Spider-Man.
That you still try. Nobody ever takes me up on that offer.
But you can see some excellent lighting, great atmosphere. This is a bit of a full-on scene here.
Gotcha. Vulture, what?
Long time no see. We're going to have so much fun.
Sorry, no time to talk.
How cool was that?
Still with me, huh?
And then from one acrobatic character to another. This was quite unexpected, but this was good to see. Looking very good as well.
Dying Light 2 features a functioning ecosystem that reacts on multiple levels to the things you do and the choices you make. In the example we're about to show you, our protagonist undertakes a mission for the Peacekeepers, one of the many factions active in the city. They want you to negotiate with two survivors who are controlling and hoarding a water supply.
Are you going to insult us with another final offer?
Let's say you choose to carry out the Peacekeepers' orders, one way or another. After this, you'll start seeing a significant change in the city, as access to the water supply has allowed the Peacekeepers to bring stability and develop the area.
So that's
There's
actually
even
a
running water for
big
people at street level,
difference to the previous games.
and that
quite
raises their
impactful.
morale and
I'm
allows you
looking
to
forward to
replenish
that.
your energy on the go. But there's a cost to this. The PKs have a rigid approach to law and order. So while the streets may be safer, it's only safe for those who side with them. So if you get on their bad side... Now let's return to that moment of choice. And instead of killing them, you choose to team up with this group to supply water in the black market. As you will see, this creates a very different set of consequences for the city. With water being a precious currency, it brings you access to new resources and trade. But this in turn attracts the worst type of people to the area. And this is just a single decision, one out of hundreds you'll have to make. But it allows you to carve out your own world, your own city from the apocalypse. Each player's game experience will be unique. And by the way, this is just what happens in the day. At night, well, things tend to get a lot darker.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking good.
We've known each other a long time.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Nothing gets
You never had this much trouble. You gonna make it through this?
They're demons! I've seen them with my own eyes! Red Grave is completely taken over!
Let us pray for mercy. This is a trial from the heavens above.
So no surprises from Capcom here. And yeah, this is looking pretty cool as well.
Hey, honey.
Interesting characters.
Hey, you have to hit every single
It's
bump in the
still
road.
holding that kind of comedic flavor and brutality. Completely over-the-top action, and this is what gamers want from DMC. They had a lot of backlash over the character before being too cocky and unlikable. Hopefully they would have learnt some lessons.
Yeah, he's a real pro at smacking demons around. That's why I built him that well-functioning arm.
But the gameplay should be
Demon-ass.
top quality.
What? No chit-chat or monologue? Just getting right to the point, huh?
But yeah, over the top, looking great, and that visceral combat that we all know and love, expect from DMC.
Cash first.
Back inside now!
I've got a score to settle with that son of a bitch.
Where there is pleasure, there is pain. It's a shame we didn't see any more gameplay from Ubisoft here. The trailer is wonderful, obviously, showing off the characters.
Do you hear me?
And the news that they're looking for user-created content to help populate the game, so anyone can get their music and art and stuff into the game, potentially. But some more gameplay would have been nice, considering the amount that was shown from Michael Ansel last year.
Dead monkey in the crow's nest. I repeat,
Still, these cutscenes or these trailers, CGI trailers that they're producing, extremely high quality.
Bet we could use your space chili to overclock our engines.
Negativo, mi amor. Only you can melt my circuits.
I mean, this is an ambitious game on paper. So, but Ubisoft have the resources to make it happen, and hopefully this is going to be a killer game. But we didn't hear anything more from Ansel's Wild this year either. That's sort of gone dark, if you can recall.
Jack shit. Nada.
Maybe there's a shift in focus on this game instead.
3 o'clock
for now.
starboard. It's massive. Like, get back here, Shani. Hold off!
Whether you're going to love or hate Monkey,
Lock down the bay column. Give your auxiliary engines. Deploy shields and bring our bomb now! Brace yourselves!
Gods protect us.
the whole premise of the trailer.
Jade.
To introduce Jade, the lead character from the first game. So the original game on Xbox and PC was absolutely fantastic. Great looking visuals, wonderful in 4K resolution, and obviously the sequel here is following that tradition. Colourful, vibrant graphics, excellent lighting, and compelling music to drive this sort of action platform adventure in. I mean, even if it's more of the same from the previous game, that is not a bad thing. It was absolutely fantastic looking and great to play as well. It's good to have a bit of contrast from all the killing and zombies and stuff like that. Have some colourful kind of game. And here she is, everyone's favourite gaming lady. Well, not necessarily everyone's, but yeah, kind of mixed opinions about Lara. I've let my feelings known about this in the past, but now in this current gameplay that they've been showing, she's turned into Arnold in the Predator. She always had that kind of flavour to her in the previous game, where she's become this kind of a natural born killer now. Her biceps are huge now. She's kind of evolved slightly, but she is a lean, mean killing machine, and making no bones about that, which is dividing fans of the series. I mean, she started out as a intrepid explorer, but it seems Crystal Dynamics are going in the direction of trying to cater towards an action-orientated audience who want to just kill and stealth and play with the jungle. But then also they want to cater to the people that like exploring and entering the tombs and overcoming the traps. So you've got this kind of a jack-of-all-trades game to appeal to more than one audience type. And there's going to be people in the middle that love both of those, and there's going to be people that aren't going to see the merits of one side or the other. And again, you can't please everybody, but you know, this is modern gaming, and it's just interesting that Crystal Dynamics are taking this direction of an all-encompassing Lara experience. As far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with how it's playing and how it's looking.
This cave looks like
I mean, there's not much difference compared to the previous game, Rise of the Tomb Raider, but this is, I mean, there's a lot of similarities here, and I guess that's what you expect from a sequel. But you know, I think we've got this situation now where a lot of female characters in video games are aggressive, and they're, I got to watch my words here, they're carbon copies of their male counterparts with not much distinction between them, to be honest, given the brutality of how they interact with their enemies. The more said about that, less said about that, the better. Moving on. So this was the first thing from the big three, and I think to really appreciate this particular trailer, you have to sit close to your screen and watch this in full 4K resolution, which I've been doing. And you'll notice a lot of the details that you probably won't see when sitting further away. I've been looking at a lot of these trailers in 4K, very close to my screen, and got a nice 49-inch 4K HDR screen. And when you start looking at the textures in this video, in this trailer, you can then get to see that this new engine that they're using is mighty fine, mighty impressive. So not really revealing too much about what the potential game could be per se, but maybe open world. I mean, Halo has always had an open-ended kind of flavour, but I think this is really to highlight their new engine, looking fantastic and running smoothly, and obviously this is going to be top quality on Xbox One X. Halo Infinite, and whether that will be on Play Anywhere on PC as well, which would be quite an interesting. The Slip Space engine, yep, impressed with that. Okay, so the big one. So this is another game that has divided opinion. We get to see the first gameplay now with Norman's character Sam. I think Kojima is being extremely clever with these trailers, not giving too much away, but also giving a lot for people to speculate by looking at the details, dissecting each section, and just speculating on what is actually happening in the trailers. Obviously, the game engine that's being used here is fantastic. I think they've had a collaboration with Guerrilla Games, and I think looks can be deceptive. I mean, if you think back at some of the other trailers in the past from Kojima, this is brings up a lot of questions, and people have speculated a lot. But I'm going to say that this is something to do with pollution of the planet. We've messed up the planet, and the planet is now ravaged and fighting back against the humans that inhabit the planet. But Norman's character Sam is one of a few that are able to live in it, hence why he's the delivery person. But the premise behind what he's actually delivering is unknown. I mean, I have some wild theories that he's potentially delivering stuff from the real world to the afterlife. And he's sort of caught in some middle ground somewhere, and that's his role of transportation. And you've got these kind of ghost characters that are in limbo between the life and the afterlife, and it's but I mean, that's a pretty wild theory. I've got no idea. But we do know that there's a lot of dangers from the actual Earth itself, and traversing it is a challenge. So I'm looking at those handprints, and they're kind of filling up with that black substance, oily substance. And obviously oil can pollute when it is spilled. So I am really going with this theme of a ravaged earth. You know, you've got the rain, which ages you if it touches you on the skin. And I think that's one of Kojima's potential themes. He was, in his previous games, he talked about nuclear weapons and the impact that has on the world. And I think now it's maybe Kojima's a conservationist, and this is a theme for this game. Especially when you look at the imagery with the whales on the beach, the death.
Headed into town. Watch yourself.
But still, an excellent trailer.
Stay gone for long.
Still not really giving much away in terms of
Fast forwards, whatever
what you're doing. Kind of people are saying walking simulator. I think that's just one tiny part of what you're actually doing here.
Sandport bridges.
Sam, what's your status?
I think your journey is going to be filled with danger.
My status is fucked. There's tons of them.
I think you're going to have to tactically assess each situation.
I have to move before they realize I'm in here.
Sam, if one of those things eats you, it'll trigger a void out. You'll come back, sure, but the surrounding area will still be a crater.
I got an idea.
See, if Sam dies here, then he can return back, but the whole area will be a crater. That's one thing that you've got to pick up from what was said here. So if Sam can return back to this world here, then maybe it's not the real world. Maybe it is a different plane for the departed. And these are lost souls. These dark sort of ghosts are the lost souls that will bring him down. But interesting to speculate. Who knows what goes on in the mind of Kojima. Definitely one of the most anticipated games for me, definitely. Obviously, we'd love to see more of what it's actually about. But so far, really impressed with the visual quality as well.
You're too late. You still don't know who I am.
And then obviously the Lindsay Wagner reveal, excellent. And there's some of that imagery I was talking about, the death on the beaches. They look like remnants from a polluted oil spill. So really cool themes there. Lots of speculation. Excellent trailer.
Something's happening to me. For months
so
now,
Microsoft relying on its key franchises, as you'd expect. But that's, you know, that's not a bad thing.
Messages.
I mean, who doesn't want more Gears of War?
There's a place up north. I think we can find you answers there.
And it's good that the
Where are we going?
I think Anya is the lead character this time.
I need to know the truth.
Or are we the prey?
She
Never be our enemy by choice.
Obviously, it looks fantastic.
But what if it's not her choice? A necklace?
And those locust designs are pretty cool.
I want it out of my head. I want it to stop. Katie. Mom! Cut me loose.
And the reveal that Mum is still alive. That visceral combat, and this is what's interesting now, is the melee combat has seemed to have been advanced here, as you can see in this shot here. So that'll be quite an interesting addition. Definitely excited for this. Of course. So, I mean, I think what you've got to take away from E3 in general, that is across each platform, if you're a gamer, you've got a lot of choice in terms of cool stuff to play.
Last couple of days.
Obviously, if you're a multi-format or multi-console owner, then you get the best of both worlds. But
always do. But this time they kept asking me.
A lot of cool stuff coming.
2 bikers, 2 men. The Ripper called them.
Although we are seeing similar themes across multiple games and experiences.
You got a price on your head.
You know, same as me. Anything that happens here is far better than what's going on out there.
Get off!
Yeah, some nice little touches here in this trailer, showing you that you're not an invincible character. Things can go wrong, horribly wrong.
Just perfect.
Now 4A Studios are continuing their post-apocalyptic theme here, and I think I've already done a preview on this game, and visually this is excellent. The atmosphere, they've nailed the atmosphere really well, and I think Artyom character is a likable character. And it's interesting to see where he takes his journey. But the trailer really does show off some really cool environments. You've got the day and night cycle, changeable weather systems. So they are advancing it from previous games, which is a far cry from the first Metro, which was a dimly lit in the corridor kind of shooter, bringing you out into the open and giving you enough different sort of themes and levels to work with, of course, and all that customization. So yeah, really cool trailer showing off lots of different scenes, lots of different action moments, and ramping it up, which we're really happy about. Definitely a game to look forward to for a more kind of methodical zombie sort of stealth experience, which is cool. Zombie shark. Who can complain about zombie sharks? Well, these are all mutants. Obviously, the world has created these creatures, and there's mutations from the radiation. So there's interesting themes here and really cool stuff. But I'm really liking the 4A game engine that they're using here, which is already looking impressive in the previous games. Yeah, nice. Metro Exodus.
Asteroid on a collision course with Earth.
So this was kind of spoiled before it was announced, but I think there was a lot of speculation prior to that anyway, that we'd be seeing it.
It wasn't a war. It wasn't global warming. It was a fucking asteroid.
It's another post-apocalyptic offering. I mean, that seems to be quite a theme amongst a lot of game developers over the last 3 years. And
everyone I ever loved. All that's
but
left is
this is
hate,
looking pretty cool.
fear, and the need for survival.
It's a single-player experience.
You see, part of growing up was
It reminds me quite a bit of, in terms of the gameplay, of Bulletstorm in a way.
And now I'm the last ranger of this wasteland.
And the only concern that I have is,
left to do.
will it have enough stealth action? I mean, in the first game, there were elements of stealth where you had to sneak around and pick your targets carefully.
Hello, E3,
but
and welcome to the world of Rage 2.
from what they're showing on here, is it's just full-on
first into the Eden
action.
space
Of course, it
station,
looks fantastic.
Where Walker, our
Really
main protagonist,
great
is
looking
out
visuals.
to find a rare artifact
But,
that will aid him in his quest to take down
not
the
sure
authority.
on the combat, so we'll just have to see.
Doctor, I'm approaching the Eden Space Center.
Ah, yes, I forgot to say. It might be overrun by bandits. The Goon Squad, to be precise. You must likely slay them first, before pulling down the ecopod from orbit and securing the untainted nanotrites therein.
And regular combat as well, which is a cool feature. I mean, as I said, the game does look fantastic. Nice wide open areas. Definitely capturing that Mad Max flavor, definitely.
Doctor, you made it to the space
No loading, seamless open world.
About you, Walker. The Goon Squad may look whimsical, laughable even, but
And of course, he's keeping that humor as well, which is quite cool.
they are very, very dangerous.
I mean, this really does remind me of Bulletstorm. Kind of combo kills. I mean, it's also reminiscent of the Doom as well, which is not a bad thing.
It sings. Rocket, rocket, singing songs to the... It mounts on the wall. It's motion sensor activated. It's the Rocket the Crusher talking hack, and it can be yours wild and flat. Rage.
I wonder if that's actually a real thing. Not that you'd want to put that on your wall. So yeah, I mean, lots of different weapons to use here. Lots of different abilities you can use against your enemies. And I think the takeaway here is that the combat is going to be extremely satisfying. You're going to be able to wade in there and just let rip. I'm assuming it's not going to be too easy, but I think they want to keep the flowing gameplay smooth, so you can just go in there and kick some ass, which is cool. Not holding back on the blood and gore.
Personnel are no longer present. Threat has been nullified. Mr. President, welcome to the Ecopod mission.
Excellent. Now, look for the central computer. You will initiate the recall procedure for Eco-15. Still in orbit.
Recall sequence approved. Beginning Ecopod recall.
It's down. The Ecopod made it.
I know, and so does the Authority. Hurry, get the untainted nanotrites and get out. Also for you, there is an extra boon. Something that will make you a veritable superhero.
Elevator still running?
So far, so good. Looks like Ranger Walker's gonna get a bit of a boost today. Just like the doc said, authority units. Shouldn't be a problem.
You've got those moments of calm, and then the next minute you're back at it with the visceral combat. Okay, now this is something special for someone like me who lives in the UK. I was really impressed to hear that Playground Games are bringing it to the UK. Yeah, it's going to be great driving in the UK, and obviously the seasons that made a big point of that, having an impact on not only the visuals but how you're going to play. Again, another Microsoft tried and trusted experience, but I think, you know, they're not holding back in terms of moving the series kind of forwards by adding new features, and I think this trailer just showcases that the diversity of the UK landscape and weather. So being able to just openly drive in a number of vehicles here, really looking forward to this, and obviously it looks pretty cool as well. So yeah, really good series, and definitely looking forward to this one. I mean, if you think about E3 in general, how many driving games have we seen of this nature throughout the press conferences? Not many at all. In fact, this is possibly the only one, if my memory serves me right. And of course, these trailers are so well made, it's just incredible. They really nail sort of capturing the flavour of that open world, cross country, on the roads, driving, racing experience. Love it. And coming so soon as well.
Where are they?
Now this is something special. I mean, incredible attention to detail. Obviously the developers here really love paying close attention to getting the aesthetics right, and lighting and the organic flavour. As well as the tension in the combat. I mean, if you can compare that to Rage we've just seen, this is a lot more of a sort of tense standoff. Developers here are very big fans of these kind of samurai characters. And I think in this gameplay preview they captured that flavour very well. I mean, you're just looking at the environments, the background details, the lighting, you know, it's just incredible. This is looking great on PS4.
Jin, you're late.
You're impatient.
And I think they're also going to be telling a pretty decent story as well, from the looks of it. It's not just about the graphics and the visceral combat, the bloodshed. I think the story is going to be quite engaging as well.
Down.
We could take them.
No.
I mean, I think E3 has had a few standout moments, and I think this presentation has been one of them. because it doesn't feature any zombies. It's not post-apocalyptic. It's sort of going back in time and just showcasing a different era in the human history, which is great, rather than the futurism we're seeing in a lot of other games. I mean, look at that. They really love their lighting. I think it's great to see this different sort of contrast.
Please, I do not understand.
I'm not sure how scripted that was, but that'd be cool if it is a feature where you'll be able to clear rooms like that.
He called reinforcements. We have to move. Masako!
Stand aside, Jin. He betrayed my family.
Run! If we fight, the Mongols win.
And here we see some sort of dilemmas now. It's not all plain sailing. It's not all predictable. So really capturing that movie feel. Tense standoff.
You are my friend.
Give me.
So, I mean, the whole atmosphere here is just second to none, really, for the type of game it is. Slow motion. I mean, if you look at the leaves being tossed about as the characters move through them.
You hear them coming? That's our enemy.
And then obviously you see the army coming in the background as mentioned by the developer. You might not have spotted that. They're coming, firing arrows at you. So a really sort of dynamic scene here. Finishing it quickly, but with mercy, like a true hero. Now, had that been Lara Croft, she would have just chopped her head off and started killing the whole army on her own. But so yeah, maybe the main characters now have a bit of compassion. Great stuff from Sucker Punch. Really excited for that game along with everybody else. There's no mistaking here what this is. So Capcom bringing them big franchises back into the fore. But a complete departure from the last game, sort of going back to the some of their older styles.
It's not right.
I mean, this has been speculated for quite some time now.
I got this.
So not really a surprise to see this.
What the?
But I think there was a fan remake of this happening as well. So I wonder what's happened to that. Whether those guys are still able to complete what they're doing, or whether they've been shut down. Who knows?
They're everywhere.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first.
Definitely keeping up with the gore.
What in God's name?
Yes.
In 2077,
Exciting times.
my city the worst place to live in America. Main issues: sky-high rate of violence.
This trailer now
more
has
people
been
living
probably
below
one of the
the
most
poverty
talked
line than
about
anywhere else.
since it was released. And this is something that I'm extremely excited for. I think everything about this trailer is appeals to me in every way. The whole premise,
got a promise for you.
and the fact that it's a first-person adventure suits me down to the ground perfectly.
And it keeps you going.
Don't want to be living in this world full of adult themes. Not pulling any punches.
It's a city of dreams, and I'm a big dreamer.
If you consider the pedigree behind CD Projekt Red, then you know this is going to be a mind-blowing role-playing game. Bring it on, as I can say. Hopefully 2019 release. I think it could be early 2020. One of the trailers of the show for these.
I think they should be terrified of me.
Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of edgy. But I think I love the way that Naughty Dog have showing that contrast between Ellie, the normal human being. Ellie is just a normal girl growing up into womanhood, but also Ellie the survivor. She's had a harrowing experience throughout her life. And yet she can still be kind of this normal person who has feelings just like anybody else. And I think this trailer really exemplifies the fact that she will do anything to survive. I mean, survival is her instinct now for her in a world where it's dog eat dog. And I think this trailer just really captures that. Now, obviously, I think the trailer is extremely scripted, but it does give a good indication of what the gameplay is going to be like. And I think Naughty Dog have nailed the atmosphere, and the stealth gameplay is looking really good. I mean, you notice there's a lack of HUD here. But if you're going back on the theme of women in video game or women characters, Ellie is another one who is as brutal as any male character, and in the same vein as Lara Croft is now, very brutal. And but as we just seen in the opening section, hopefully Naughty Dog can then give that contrast that Ellie is in fact a compassionate, normal human being rather than this lean, mean killing machine. So that's I think that's the key here with these women characters now in games. You've got to show a contrast. I think that's probably my biggest problem with Lara from at the moment, is the fact that they're not showing Lara in any kind of way that she's got any compassion, that she's human. She's just this woman that's going around killing for the sake of it. And I've said in one of my other rant videos from last year that, you know, you'd expect Lara to sort of have a more means of taking care of her enemies that don't necessarily involve killing them. But we've not seen that yet. So maybe we never will. Who knows? But I mean, stealth. I'm a big fan of stealth games, and this is looking pretty cool stuff. And I like the way the enemies are sort of focusing on looking under objects as well. You notice the other enemy didn't attack while she had her knife stuck in her neck. He just stood there waiting, which I guess is why it feels kind of scripted. You've got these cinematic sort of cuts that interrupt the gameplay, but I guess it looks good. So we've seen her run into that long grass there. There's no way they couldn't not see her. I think we have to question their aiming ability as well. But there's always a way out. So we know now from the previous scene that they do actually look underneath vehicles. So as a player in this particular scenario, waiting here, there you get a glimpse of that's what's actually happening, is not a good idea. The only course of action left to you is this. And then that obviously alerts everybody else. So, I mean, what could have happened there? I mean, he was right on her after she shot the woman in the face. What would have happened if you'd have turned the other way and shot him first and exited the vehicle from the right hand side? Who knows? It's showcasing a good selection of stealthing it, taking hostages, and then sort of action. Then back to sort of the stealth again. So obviously that woman's coming behind you now from the counter. So she sneakily moves out the way. I think that's a bit cheeky. Time for a bit of crafting or selecting your weapon right in the thick of it. You didn't see her in the peripheral there. That was a bit weird, but again, this is quite a scripted scene. And then we get this character. Now, I think, you know, kill or be killed. I don't like to waste bullets. We just get this brutality here from this woman character. I mean, this defines this whole video, the trailer. She's brutal, she's covered in blood, she's a young woman, but she's just that, she's also a young woman. There's another side to her. She's not completely scarred from her actions. It's just the normal way of life for her. And she's still able to smile. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Your hunt for the convoy starts here, in your hideout, deep within the Chagos Islands.
I thought this looked really great. I wonder how this is going to go up against Sea of Thieves. I think that was a question that raised when these were first showcased last year. Obviously two very different games in terms of visuals, but both offering similar kind of themes. Sea of Thieves has got some time behind it to evolve, which it has done already. But I'm liking the way Ubisoft are presenting this. It's a lot more of an adult-looking experience.
With everything loaded,
the visuals are great.
The winds are strong and the day is clear.
And obviously a nice expose of those water effects, which are.
According to your intel, the convoy is sailing
past just look at them; they speak for themselves.
Taking advantage of the strong winds.
I think they've had enough practice with the Assassin's Creed games to get the water right, and I think this is kind of like an extension on those naval battles that we've seen in Assassin's Creed games, and giving people that opportunity just to play as the pirate of the seas.
Disguised as a Portuguese merchant, you tried to creep past the fort.
Captain, if we engage, they will see it through our guys.
I think as long as the controls are easy, it's not too complicated, and it's got a kind of arcade flavour. It's not too much of a simulation, pirate simulator. Then I think, you know, this is going to be a really cool game.
Plots the optimal course for an intercept. Rigging your sails for speed.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of artistic license.
Captain, there she is!
Fire as she bangs!
And what's not to like? Blowing other ships out of the sea. Really nice particle effect. Smoke, look at that smoke, it's awesome.
Show no mercy!
What was theirs is now ours!
Right, so you get the booty.
Captain, we've got what we need!
So this is perhaps a bone of contention, you know. In Sea of Thieves, there's no honour amongst pirates, and this trailer kind of hints at the same kind of flavour as well. That, you know, you're going to call in your friends to help you take on a massive foe, and then once the battle's over and everyone's wounded, limping away from the battle, your friends suddenly turn into enemies and they steal all your loot. I don't think that's a good gameplay feature, regardless of the themes, and a lot of people did not like that in Sea of Thieves, and I think it's going to be a potential game breaker if it happens here. It's a bit hardcore in my opinion. You don't want to be wasting time. I think with online gaming and gaming in general, you want to have some form of progression when you're playing, and to lose stuff, it just feels too bad. It just feels like a big downer, and You know, so hopefully Ubisoft will have addressed that in terms of if you do get your loot stolen, then you've still made some sort of progress. You've got experience or some other form of reward, so that your whole thing has not been just a waste of time and energy.
Commodore turns his cannons on.
I'm gonna wager that some of these battles will take quite a long time as well. It's not a short session.
Maneuver for position. The Royal Fortune acts as a tank, drawing the Commodore's fire. It unleashes its special ability, Siege Mode. Once anchored, it can fire its cannons without limits. The Jaeger slips into position with its powerful cannon. Its special ability delivers 8 shots in a single blast, increasing the odds for a critical hit. The Royal Fortune can't hold out much longer. It's up to you to land the killing blow.
It's up to you to land the killing blow. Boom.
The battle is won. But the glitter of gold can turn new allies into deadly enemies. For there is no honor among thieves.
That's potential bonus potential.
So you're awake.
I mean, when I first saw this trailer, I immediately thought, could this be a new Tenchu game?
Just yet.
But I think it's going to be more in the style of Dark Souls.
Some time has passed
rather than a stealth game. Although look here, we see a bit of stealth. That's what made me think it was Tenchu. It's a new IP from From Software, and
will give way to something more.
Full of demons.
Useful. You'll learn to appreciate its worth.
I think it looks good. The combat looks pretty cool, and yeah, I'd like to see more of this, more actual gameplay. I do hope there is a stealth element, though. I mean, that would be quite cool. Can't have enough stealth. I mean, I think giving players a choice of stealth and action approaches is a must. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing more of this game.
Your death won't come easily.
Although it does remind me of the going way back in time, giant enemy crab hitting its weak point. That's a bit of a meme. And to round off now, as a complete contrast, massive announcement. I think the music just gives it away. Fantastic, brilliant. Shame we didn't see anything.
I'm excited to give you a sneak peek at 3 years of hard work from the Ubisoft Quebec team, as we've continued to transform
Again, look, Ubisoft showing off that water.
Full-blown RPG with choice at the center of everything.
They've got experience in that field.
In Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
great.
You will play a mercenary who embarks on an epic odyssey to reunite their family and confront the ones who tore it apart. During that adventure, you will sail the Aegean seas and explore the lands of ancient Greece, circa 5th century BCE. And for the first time ever, you will choose to play as either a male or female hero, Alexios or Cassandra.
Again,
both heroes share the same
not politically correct,
story and amazing
but that's
Today,
I think that is a
we're
really
going to play
good
as
choice.
Cassandra as she arrives at the beautiful Greek island of Mykonos.
Again, we're going back to the female character in video games of our modern times being on par with the male counterpart. And Assassin's Creed is no exception. Good having that choice. About time too, in my opinion.
Slain by the legendary Iraklis.
Read me the note again.
Eagle-bearing Mystios. That's you. We are a small but fierce group of rebels who'd pay you handsomely.
I think we have to always bear in mind that video games are based on fantasy, and whilst Assassin's Creed games are bathed in lots of historic elements, it's still a game of pure fantasy, and it's a video game. It's a form of escapism, and I think that's what people want. And the familiarity of the historic values that are placed on the Assassin's Creed games always welcome and drive it along, despite the fact that it's gameplay-wise it's very fantastical.
Business as usual then.
I think that's what people like about them, the accessibility.
Gods protect you, Cassandra.
And, it's great having a female warrior.
They'll be too busy protecting Diocles from me.
I think more notable is the fact that, you know, they've had to record the entire script from her perspective, different elements of the story from a female perspective as well as a male perspective. So that's kind of double the work. So it just shows that their extreme dedication to the cause, that they're giving players that choice. And remember, you know, some players, or a lot of players, won't actually play as the other character once they've invested in the one that they've chosen. So yeah, it's a bold move offering that choice in such a story-driven narrative, and you know, it's a testament to Ubisoft's resources to be able to do that. So fair play.
You want my head? Come and take it.
I mean, if you think back to the first Assassin's Creed game, the combat in that, and how it's kind of evolved now, you know, they've really kind of nailed these kind of interactions. It was a very simplified process in the first game, and now it's just very smooth and organic. And yeah, I really like it, and I think this whole period in Greece is an interesting direction to take. I think a lot of people are still waiting for feudal Japan. Maybe we'll get that one day, but I mean, coming from Egypt in the last game and now here, is giving them an opportunity to just show off these lovely visuals, and you know, it's just a good period to cover in terms of the war element amongst the human race. Although still kind of the mind boggles, you know, where we could go with something like Assassin's Creed Future, or Assassin's Creed in a more modern setting. What kind of war zones would you cover in that particular game, if they would ever be bold enough to attempt to do that?
Paying me handsomely.
Mercenaries.
Athenians have enslaved our people for too long. Help us free Mykonos from their grasp, and you'll have more drachmi than you can carry.
I mean, she looks like a warrior, doesn't she? She's got those kind of manly features, but she's still feminine as well.
My men
And,
are
you know,
ferocious in a
it's,
ground assault, but we're outnumbered.
And Diocles fights with the fury of Ares.
Join us in battle.
If you're half the warrior Kira says you are, we'll grind these Athenians into dust.
I mean, they've been working on this for what, 3-4 years.
All right,
So
I'll fight
you know,
with you. But Diocles is mine.
To battle then.
they do put the time in. It's not, even though they might appear to release frequently, they take a lot of time actually building these up. So we've got these big battles now. So For Honor style big battles. You know, the 300 movie has a lot to answer for, and it's quite an influence, obviously. And this is a different flavour. I think Ubisoft is saying that this is more RPG than the action RPG that is. I would say action game that's been in the past. So that's quite an interesting aspect. Again, this is more of the fantasy element. The David and Goliath.
Diocles! Your life ends today!
Finishing move. Nice one between the legs. Painful. So yeah, just a solid fantasy role-playing experience. I mean, what more can you ask for, really? Definitely looking forward to that. Exciting times ahead for the game. Okay, sticking with Ubisoft here. I mean, Ubisoft are really cementing themselves on the world stage as a big publisher and developer of video game franchises. And this is another favourite.
Duke, Kit, did you guys hear that?
I think this particular scene is absolutely wonderful here. Really great looking graphics. And it's a shame you kind of pass through it a bit quickly. There's nothing going on here. So it's really kind of just a bit of a visual effect rather than anything of noteworthy. And then we come outside. And the Ubisoft are going for their fake scripted dialogue.
So you guys are coming or what? Yeah.
Which is quirky.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
I mean, I think with these games, they really evolve them over time. I mean,
here's the door.
The post-release attention to detail and commitment to the games is worth commending. And I think if you look at the original game and how it is now, year 3, I think, after its initial release, they have changed a lot. They've added a lot to it as well. And so, I mean, once you start playing and be committed to it, then you know, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I think that's something you have to take away from a lot of the Ubisoft games.
Definitely from the capital.
I mean, again, Rainbow Six Siege, that's evolved also.
You should have a new side mission on the map.
And they're doing the same with Ghost Recon Wildlands.
After the crash site? Sounds good. They're just ahead of us, Matt.
So moving from New York to Washington, a good move.
Hey, I see you. I'll be up in a sec.
Giving us slightly different flavour in terms of aesthetics.
I've been busy.
And, you know, just hope, you know, just tightening up the combat.
Hey, you guys,
I think that was
really check this out. Almost there.
a bone of contention for a lot of people. I think some people are still not going to like the bullet sponge enemies It's not very realistic, and you know, personally, I'd like a mode where you take away the bullet sponge, but it also means that you're vulnerable as well. A lot more challenging mode, being a lot more careful in how you approach a situation. But I guess the point of this video is to showcase the teamwork action.
Got her.
It's a cool feature.
Matt, look out!
Ricochet the grenade.
Alright, let me try to get that tank off you. More bad guys on the other side of the plane.
Grenade, grenade!
Dude, come on.
Yep.
Matt, I need your help. Over here. Seeker mine out. Whoa! Oh, I'm stuck. Use a little help?
There's some interesting weapons here and tools. The glue gun.
Thanks, Matt. Oh, there's a dude rushing through the plane. Guys.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
So yeah, really nice demo.
Got him. I'm down.
Yeah, hang on, I'll get you. I'll cover you guys.
Come on,
But
come
I mean,
on.
I think that we wish they'd lose some of this the script.
Get that weak point.
It seems kind of unnatural.
Setting my drone.
Thank you for
I mean,
the
sure,
revive,
some
Meg.
people will play like this, but I think most people can coordinate using a kind of sixth sense.
Matt with the hive knife.
Alright, just lay it on him.
Again?
Drone down.
Oh, there goes his armor.
Ah! You're on your own.
Keep going.
Good job. Level up. Level 30.
Oh, sweet. Congrats.
Alright, flare is up. Control point is
It's
on.
kind of cheesy.
Guys,
But
wanna
let
check out
that
the
not
plane?
that not detract from the actual gameplay here. I think it's pretty cool. I'm liking it a lot, and I was a big fan of the original game, and my PC is ready for this, definitely. I mean, if you think back to the beginning of this demo in that nice
Whoa, that's
area, now we've gone through the swamps
Let's check it out.
inside Air Force One, and now outside.
So, game plan. Take the capital back. I think we're ready. 3, 2, 1,
Yeah,
go,
I'd
go,
say-
go, go, go!
So yeah, nice demo, really cool, apart from those cheesy voices. 2019 is going to be a busy year. And then to finally round off this preview, surprise announcement from Bethesda. Pretty cool announcement trailer. Not really showing anything, but the premise is there. So, thanks for watching this. Hope you've enjoyed our E3 thoughts and presentation ideas and opinions, and speculation and whatever else. It's been great going through this and putting it all together. So, I'm Rob Cram. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like or subscribe, or both, if you feel the need.